everybody, this is Courtney. Welcome back to my channel if you're returning, and welcome if you are new here. I hope that your reading is going well and that you have some really good books. I'd really like to discuss what you're reading. Now, we're about 3 weeks into June, and I have read all of the books that I had on my TBR, and it's actually made me start questioning whether or not I really want to do a TBR. So I think in the future I'm going to do a very limited TBR. I have read a total of 19 books. That is a lot. A few of them are short stories. I started the last few days of May up until now. So I started with the last book in the Ruin of Roses series, A Queen of Ruin, and I posted that video. I will link it below. I did 3 arcs. It was The Deep, Mirror Mended, and Path of Thorns, and I posted that as well down below. And I did the Demon Queen Trials. That was 3 fantasy books, and I recorded that video yesterday, so it'll be coming out shortly, or actually it'll probably be out before this video actually posts. Faraway Collection, that's an Amazon series of short stories, a fairy tale reimagined. So I will link that below. And then now I'm going to talk about the remainder of the books that I have. So I read Stolen Tongues. Stolen Tongues is a horror novel that I think it originally appeared on Reddit. It has all the trappings of a really good B movie. So basically you have Felix and you have Faye who go to a cabin in the Colorado mountains, and some sort of spirit starts talking to Faye in her sleep. Now, she's normally a sleepwalker and a sleep talker, which is interesting enough, but whatever this spirit is speaking to her and trying to get information out of her. And then soon after, Felix and her start to, you know, see shadows. There's some sort of strange entity that is trying to draw them into the mountains. They start hearing voices of people that they know that shouldn't be there. Some of them did. So needless to say, they book it out of there, but you know, the spirit seems to follow them home, and then they have to deal with that, and it looks like Faye's soul may be in danger. So I thought that this was a really good horror novel. There were times where I think I read it over like 2 days, and reading at night, I had to get my husband to come to bed with me because I was a bit freaked out. So definitely something that'll get your heart pounding. I think that Felix was a ride or die because Faye was acting a bit nuts, and it's no way I would be around her like that. I thought that it was funny, not to give too much away, but there was a time where they invited company over to the house. Now, how you gonna invite company to your house when you have some sort of ghost situation going on? Just good book though, good book. I think it's definitely worth a read. One thing I will say that I did like about it though is that at the end there was a chapter where the author spoke about his reservations about writing a Native American character and about being sensitive and being responsible about how he portrayed that. Another book is Jimmy. Jimmy is about a 17-year-old high school student that has a kinky bondage fantasy, and he takes it a bit far when he decides to kidnap a couple of classmates and put them inside of a bunker, and then he gets a little bit too over his head. This one was a really good book. It shows you can't really trust everybody. I thought that some parts were funny and some that didn't make sense. I feel like almost like these girls are just walking into a trap, but I thought that was a really good book. It'll definitely gauge your interest. Now, another book on my list was called Melanin Madness. I have a video about that. I wanted to see what the author of that book, Hope Bullard, had to offer as well. So I went on Amazon and I found a short story by her called Invisible Voices. And it's basically about a barista who has this entitled customer, and she decides to teach him a lesson by kidnapping him and trying to kill him. Really good short story. I think it's like 8 pages, but it was really good. It was suspenseful and it was entertaining. Now this month there was also a group read with channel Reading This Life with MJ. Awesome channel, you should check her out. Very supportive. And it was decided in June we would be reading Project Hail Mary as well as June on the Range. Project Hail Mary is basically about Ryland, who's this astronaut slash scientist that wakes up in space, and he is trying to figure out why he's there because he has amnesia, and then he's trying to save the planet. So it was an interesting book. It had a lot of science, which I was not a big fan of that. I guess I'm not really a big fan of space science. That's probably more like it. But I thought it was okay. I thought it did have some funny parts. A lot of people compared it to this book, The Martian, which I have never read. But it was just okay for me. I mean, it wasn't bad, but I wasn't super impressed by it. I just thought that it kind of dragged on a bit. It seems like I'm one of the few that had some sort of reservations about the book. I feel like almost everybody else liked it a lot. It just wasn't my cup of tea. Now, Cannonball Express is basically about a group of friends that discover some alien space bunker with this pristine pieces of engineering. Like you have trains, planes, automobiles, bombs, all this other stuff. And so they decide to take one of the locomotives that they find and start a sort of pony express service across the dangerous mountains of Mars. That's the colony that they live on. And they get into all these different sorts of adventures to help save the people of Mars. Now, the first book in this series is called Railroad to Mars, and that's the book that I read. I thought that it was action-packed, just like I said, a bit juvenile. You have the 4 strong characters. I like that 3 of them are women. One's a dude that they met inside of the bathroom from way back when. It takes place on Mars in a sort of rustic Western environment, which is really interesting. It was suspenseful. It was a bit terrifying. At least with this one part that they had about some bugs. I do think that was a bit of funny parts as well. I do like you have a lot of diverse characters in not only the race of all the characters, but also in the gender orientation as well. But it just didn't hold my interest enough to continue in the series. The Coldest Secret Ever. It was just one of those random searches down the rabbit hole that I found on the internet, and I figured why not just throw it into it. But it is about a woman who, you know, has the perfect life, supposedly. She's a former beauty queen. She has a beautiful daughter. She has a rich, successful husband, a good career, just, you know, all the things we want in life, right? And she gets home one day and her husband's upset because someone sent him a sex tape of her. And she's like, that is not me. What is going on? So she is going down the rabbit hole trying to figure out who is on this sex tape, and she thinks that it's an evil twin. So you're trying to figure out what exactly is going on. Now, this book was wild and it was ratchet, it was shocking, and it had tons of different twists. So don't think that you know what the ending is until you actually get to the end. And then there's Layla, which is on my TBR. I decided not to read Layla. I just feel like Colleen Hoover is all over the internet, and I'm one of those people that when a book is too popular and I keep hearing about it, I run in the opposite direction. And maybe one of these days I was going to take the plunge this month and I just didn't do it. So we'll see. But Layla just seemed like it would kind of bring me down a little bit, and I was on a high after some of these other books, so I decided to just stop and go in another direction. But anyway, that is all the books that I read thus far. It has been a busy month of reading because I have had a lot of time. So I hope that you are having a great day. I need to get stuff together because I've been reading and neglecting stuff. So, but I hope to see you soon. Bye-bye. Please like and subscribe. Comment as well.